back to the second episode of the Faithful Draft. I'm Bella. If you didn't know. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about my writing journey, like how I got into it and all that kind of stuff. So for those of you who don't really know me, I'm Bella. By the time this will be out, I'll be 20 years old. And I am a sophomore in college, and I'm a Latina Christian writer. And my genres, if I were to break it down to three genres, it's Christian fiction, teen romance, and cozy mystery. So yeah, that's kind of like my my general bio, I guess you could say. I believe it's on my Instagram too. So yeah. So I've been writing like since I could write, I guess you could say. I've always loved writing stories or telling stories or being super creative. I've always grown up very creatively. Like there has not been a single moment in my life where I wasn't like creative. I feel like it's just like, always been there. Um, and I remember this might be really bad. I don't know. But when I was younger, I would have a journal next to my bed and I would write stories and I would stay up all night writing these stories or like books or at least the start of books. I don't think I ever really finished one until I was in middle school. But I would write like books and stories and outlines and everything. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, yes. And I would stay up. I wouldn't go to sleep because I was so excited. And this is a common writer thing, I feel like, but I guess, since I was a kid, it was a little foreign to me, but I like got ideas like in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep because I had to write them down. And yeah, so I guess that's what happened with me when I was younger too. And it still happens sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I don't stay up all night to write them. I'll just jot down little notes on my notes app or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, I've been basically writing my whole life, but it wasn't until like 8th grade that I like figured it out that I was like gonna do it because context, when I was in 8th grade, COVID happened. Yeah, COVID happened when I was in 8th grade. So I think it was March of that year. Yeah, it was March. So my school had shut down and I finished middle school online, and my freshman year of high school, never left the house or barely left the house. The only thing I didn't really leave the house. I mean, I left a couple of times to get some fresh air, and it would usually just be a walk, but never really left the house. Which is like, whoa. So I had loads of time, loads and loads of time. So during like my middle school era, I guess, I was really into art. Like I would draw cartoons and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I don't really see myself doing that. Um, don't ask me to draw anything now. I will not do it. Because of a very bad face painting experience at Vacation Bible School. I Side story. Um, yeah, I volunteered this past year. I volunteer every year at my church during the summertime for Vacation Bible School. We call it VBS, and I always do face painting. But this year, I stunk at it, and I felt so bad. Kids told me, this is so mean, so brutal. Kids told me, "Can you please redo it?" That's so mean, but it's okay. I understood. Yeah, and the worst part is it was stencils that I was using too, so I don't know. Anyway, let's just say I'm not going near a paintbrush anytime soon. Um, but yeah, I had an art phase, but I was like, I don't really think I'm gonna stick with that, honestly. And that's okay. Um, so I would teach like my mom. She's a teacher, and so she had a online class. Yeah, online class. second or first grade, I don't remember. But I was getting volunteer hours for high school too. So I was like, hey, can I do this for volunteer hours? Like teach an art class or something like that to your kids. And she was like, yeah, and her principal approved it. Everything was cool. So, I did that for a minute and I was teaching these kids and I was like, like this is fun and all that kind of stuff, but I can't see myself doing this like for a living or anything like that. I picture myself like drawing out cartoons for a living. Which it's great for some people. It just wasn't my thing. It was something just to pass time for me, honestly. Um, and then, I was like, maybe I should start writing more. So I kid you not, I learned how to do a lot of writing formats. I learned how to write books. I learned to write screenplays. I learned to write plays. I learned to write TV scripts. I kid you not. I researched articles like crazy. Like I self-taught with the articles, of course, and videos and templates and examples, but like I basically taught myself how to write all these different formats. Um, and I mean, it was fun. I used to remember the number off the top of my head because, again, like if I started like towards the end of eighth grade, like it was basically just my freshman year of high school where I was writing. And it was every single day. Like, I kid you not, every single day for hours and hours and hours when I wasn't on Zoom for class or whatever. Hours and hours and hours on end. I would just be writing and writing and writing. I used to remember the number because like by the end of COVID, I was just like, oh, this is a cool number to know, like how much I did. I think this is a ballpark estimate. I'm not saying I actually did this, but it's a ballpark estimate. Like maybe 3 books, 4 movies, and 2 TV shows. Like season one of 2 different TV shows. I think that's the number. That's probably around the number. I'm not gonna say it's definite. But yeah, it was a lot. But it was COVID, so I had like a lot of time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I really enjoy this. Like I want to do this for the rest of my life. And then I figured out like I can do this for the rest of my life. Um, so yeah, a couple of inspirations. I'm gonna say the 2 main inspirations that I've taken from, I guess. I so during COVID time as well, I was watching a lot of TV and movies. I really like old movies, like Adam's Rib, Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn. Favorite old movie of all time. That's it for me. Um, like I really love that movie, and there's a bunch of other movies that I really love that are old movies, but that's like one of my favorites. Like period. Um, so yeah, I was kind of inspired by that, but also Gilmore Girls. I know, shocker. Yeah, that was a huge inspiration to me. As I mean, like as like a creative person, but also like TV show, I guess, because I like had a phase after I started watching that, and I that's where I did the whole TV thing, TV scripts. So I was very obsessed with it. I still am. I might do an episode just on Gilmore Girls, not gonna lie. So stay tuned for that if you're also a Gilmore Girls addict, I guess. Um, so yeah, I'd say like as far as like for television or films, that's kind of like where my area was at. So I was really obsessed with it. With Gilmore Girls specifically, but also old movies. I'm still obsessed with old movies. Um, and then I guess for like books, I mean, I don't really do like Victorian like writing, but I've tried to get into it a little bit. But Pride and Prejudice, I love Pride and Prejudice. I love Jane Austen. Like, yeah. So those things like really inspired me. And to be honest, like, and I guess I'll get into like how I like figured out what genres I wanted to do. It's because so when I was younger, I loved reading, loved watching TV. um, as one kid does. And there was a lot of stuff that I could not watch, like period, or read, period, because my parents wanted me to be safe and not be exposed to things, and I'm grateful for that. But the downside of it was that there was not much out there for me to read, or not much that they knew of me, or not much of that they knew out there that I could read, or watch. So I felt it was a little limited for me. And now I'm becoming this like really big bookish person, because I feel like now we have like better technology, or like people who do like reviews. Like, I feel like, I guess this is a little shout out, but I feel like Common Sense Media, that's a really good website to like look up age ratings. But to be honest, sometimes that's a little tough because they only do like really popular stuff, I think. So it's like, popular movies or popular books or popular shows. So they'll tell you, which is good. But yeah, so I was really limited when I was younger, and I was like, when I figured out what I wanted to like write like officially, I was like, oh, I want to be, clean romance, because listen, I love rom-coms as much as the next girl, but some of them we can't be doing that out here. And in the books too, we can't be. There's no, I can't. We can't be exposing ourselves to all this garbage. Anyway, yeah. So I was like, I want to do clean romance and cozy mystery, because to be honest, I love a good mystery. I wasn't. I didn't get to read a lot of mystery, to be honest, growing up. I think it wasn't because of, like, anything crazy was happening. I think it was just might have been a little gory. I think that was all it was, which is fine for some people, but not for me. Um, so I want to do like, I was like deciding, I was like, oh, I want to do like cozy mystery, clean romance, and then, you know, diving into it a little bit more when I got to college, um, I was like, I feel like God is calling me to write more Christian based stuff. Not like in your face, though, like, I feel like there's some like Christian media that's like very in your face, and I feel like normalizing it, like making it like subtle but not so subtle, and it like makes it normalizing it a little bit. So that's kind of like where, like, I really wanted to do all of these genres because I lacked it when I was younger. Something that I always will go by is write what you would want to read, or write what would you want to see in like a movie or a TV show. I'm a very big believer in that, because it's like, I mean, the audience that I'm targeting essentially is also me, and also people. I know I'm not alone in this. There's a bunch of other people, I'm sure, who felt the same way. Like, honestly, it's not an uncommon experience, I feel like. So, I don't know. So, I really wanted to write stuff that was like, okay, like, this is my book, right? I want parents to feel comfortable like giving this to their children without, like, my parents had this like rule, like, oh, like, we would have to read it before you read it, just to make sure. And sometimes, like, I think they did that a couple of times, but it wasn't like everything, so, which was kind of unfortunate, but it's okay. But I want parents to, like, trust me, and like, the preteen girls or the teenage girls and whatever, like, I want parents to be like, hey, like, I trust this author. Like, she says, and she's proven that she doesn't write anything crazy or explicit or yada yada yada. Like, prove, like, I'm trying to prove that anyway, and it's in the pages, and also in my content. So, yeah, I want parents to feel comfortable giving this to their daughters or sons who want to read this type of stuff, like, because I wish I had someone like that, basically. So, yeah. it all started when I was in 8th grade, and then when I got to high school, when I finished that freshman year of COVID, yeah, I took my school was a tech school, so it was kind of rough with the creative stuff some of the time. But the classes that I did take, like there was a creative writing class that I took. There was two film classes that I took. Like I loved all those experiences, and I was also part of a small drama club because so it was also a magnet school. So the way it works is like if you're in sports or theater, you would have to go to your district school. Um, because everybody was kind of a mix of like different towns in that school. So, we had a small drama club, and so my sophomore year, I joined that drama club, and I was an actor for that one. And yeah, um, it was really fun. I met one of my bestest friends, Sarah Berry. Not to like call her out, but she's also a content creator, and you should also check out her stuff. She's really cool. Yeah, I met one of my besties in there, and also our president of the drama club, Chloe Lefferman. Her so much. She very encouraging. Like honestly, she was a great mentor, and she prepared me for when I took over in senior year. Like, honestly, yeah, she's just amazing. I love her, and I love her family so much. I'm sorry, I'm calling all these people out just because I love them so much. But yeah, so then junior year, we didn't do anything for drama club, mostly because I think the presidents of our drama club couldn't. I don't know what the situation was, but I think it was that they couldn't pick something to do. So we kind of skipped the year. And then when I was a senior, I had a play ready, a dinner party murder mystery kind of thing. Anyway, I wrote it, and I also acted in it because again, small drama club. Everybody else didn't really know about us still, but I think now it's on the map because of our production, and like the people who took it over now have really advertised it, and I'm so proud of them. Yay. So, yeah, so that's how I got into plays, and like, I'm still doing all this stuff in college. Like I'm still writing my book and my short stories and my poems and my plays and my films and my TV shows, and I'm still all doing that kind of stuff. But that's basically how I got into writing. um I want to talk more about my faith background, but I'm looking at the time, and it's not going to be enough time. So we'll talk more about my faith background in another episode, I guess. But have a great day. Have a very cozy morning if you're listening to this in the morning. Enjoy your coffee, write something, journal, do something super creative. Like honestly, like it's great. Honestly, it's like taking a nice deep breath. So definitely encourage it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.